how are you doing? Hope you're keeping well. Exciting times. It's time to take a look at my first White Dwarf. This is October 1995. Let's see what goodies are in store. Okay, here we go. White Dwarf, 190. October 1995, and you'll notice instantly this is a lot more battered and dog-eared than all the ones that I've looked through previously. That's because this is legitimately the copy that I have had since October 1995, as will all of the future 1995, 1996, etc. ones that we look at, because I kept them, because I still love them, and I still love looking through them. This was the first ever White Dwarf that I got. And it was given to me by my parents. We went on holiday that October, and it very definitely brings back memories of reading it on that holiday. That holiday, I can picture the cabin that we were staying in, and the restaurant that we had all our meals in, and the swimming pool that was an outdoor swimming pool that was not heated. And I was determined to swim in it in October, and dived in and immediately went into shock, and my dad had to jump in and fish me out. And he is not a swimmer. He hates being in water, really hates, almost phobic of water. So it was a big deal for him to jump in and fish me out. So it brings out all kinds of memories, but I love it. Would I feel this way about a previous edition? Probably, but this one is a stonking edition because it's Necromunda. Yeah, with a free Necromunda figure. The one that I got was a Goliath, not an Orlok, and it was the first model that I painted using inks, but not when I bought it here. That was quite a long time afterwards that I did that. Now I do wish that I still had my my Goliath and my Orlok plastics. Unfortunately, we were playing a Necromunda campaign and they were taken by a friend, and I don't think he did anything with them, but I don't have them anymore, which is a shame because I'd like to paint those gangs up. Beautiful scenery, beautiful colours. Ignore the goblin green bases. I actually like the goblin green bases on these guys, but I think that's just a nostalgia thing. It's such a cool setting. But I'm getting ahead of myself, because first of all we have to take a look at Gary Morley's Chaos Warrior, and then we can get into Necromunda. And now remember, last episode we were looking at Confrontation. Okay, same world, not the same rules, but same world. 5 years previously, when they tried to make this a percentile dice based war game, which is actually a very cool game. I have played it, it works really nicely, but it was more complex than perhaps a lot of Games Workshop fans wanted to play at the time. So the Necromunda, which was like the skirmish version of 2nd edition 40k, was a lot more popular. Plus, of course, the boxed set idea with the lovely cardboard scenery, which I do still have. I mean, that got me hooked to start off with. It's like, that looks amazing, I want to play that. But I never, it was maybe 15 years after this that I first played Necromunda, because I couldn't afford this box as a kid, this set. So I ended up playing Trinity Battlezone instead, because it was on special offer, but I played it very much thinking I want this to be Necromunda, and used Necromunda names and rules and background and things for playing that. But anyway, there is a lot less in this article on the background of Necromunda than there is in this article, although these pictures reappeared in the rulebook, of course. This is all background because they're doing the whole game in 3 parts. This is a look at the game in a way that makes you then want to buy into it, of course. They're trying to sell you the game. These cool houses. Houses are mentioned in Confrontation, but they aren't. There are a couple that are named, but they aren't given these names. These names are specific to this, and so Escher, Cawdor, Orlok, Vansar. Escher, probably coming from MC Escher, I would imagine. Cawdor, almost certainly coming from Macbeth. Orlok, almost certainly coming from 2000 AD. Don't know about Vansar. But just look at the concept art here. This is also Jez Goodwin concept art. Remember how we saw his Arbites back here. There. More Jez Goodwin concept art. His art is so cool. I love it sort of half formed. It's very much working through ideas and trying to get poses that will convert well into sculpts. It's so cool. Big fan of the Necromunda. Anyway, there'll be a lot more Necromunda in future issues. Here we have the Tyranids arriving. More about them later. Dark Secrets for Warhammer Quest. These are very cool. So this is ways of giving your characters reasons to do things that don't necessarily benefit the party. If you've ever played in a campaign where if you've ever played something like Hero Quest where everyone's working together, the appeal to stab up one of the other heroes and run off with their treasure is high. And the Dark Secrets sort of legitimize and give a reason for behaviour that doesn't benefit the party, especially if you're trying to get away with it. Which is cool. It's an extra added layer of sort of semi-role playing, which I really like. Plus a look at two of the studio's teams of warriors. Mike McVie playing Nogbad the Barbarian. I wonder where he got that name from. Richard Wright playing Taliesin the Elf. Chris Colston, Red Magnus the Wizard. Paul Jones, Jonas Faithbringer the Warrior Priest. Gary Morley, Serrano de Vignes the Imperial Noble. De Vignes, haha. And Simon Smith and his amazing dancing bear playing Skaggy Longbeard, the brother of Skeggy Longbeard, who was killed in a previous adventure. Against Narvak's Damned, Des Hanley's Narvak the Chaos Warrior, Matt White, Griffbeard the Dwarf, Wayne Greenwood, Leon Del Narfi the Elf Ranger Mage. He's got it all going on there. Apparently the only magical influence in this party, and in high demand because of it. Lindsay Patton playing Glibfoot Volspanker the Halfling Thief, and Ian Pickstock, Cannon or Fireblade the Revenant Knight, which I don't remember ever actually getting a release for Warhammer Quest. You remember the Revenant Knight in Warhammer Quest? Don't remember that. Second Imperial Assassin, we had the Vindicare last month in this year. Now we've got the Kalidas, the shape-shifting polymorphic assassin who just pops up in your enemy's ranks and starts wreaking havoc. Slaneshi War Machines, big stompy robots with claws. They're very cool. He's got his groinily slung las cannon. Is he the las cannon? I don't know, but the Quester Titan, who's definitely just says weapon here hanging between his legs. Its legs, I guess I should say. It's Gary Morley sculpt. We've had non-Gary Morley Warhammer Quest sculpts, but this is a Gary Morley Warhammer Quest sculpt. And the Tyranid Warriors get a release. So these cool metal Tyranid Warriors, love them a lot. They have some options. They have some weapon options. They've got their Spine Fist, Bone Sword, Lash Whip, Devourer, Venom Cannon, Barb Strangler. Oh, but the Death Spitter. There isn't a metal model for the Death Spitter, Let's check the catalogue pages at the back, shall we? No, there isn't an option to arm your Tyranid warriors with a Death Spitter. What can we possibly do? Well, that's because the plastic Tyranid warriors here that are still mentioned in the catalogue, still available and also visible quite clearly in this, well, maybe not quite clearly for you, but in this image here. That's an old plastic model, that's an old plastic model, that's an old plastic model. So are those three back there. They are armed, some of them, with Death Spitters. So I guess if you wanted a Death Spitter, you'd have to go back to the plastic one. And the Death Spitter is this weapon that I flagged up last time. Where are we? Here, this one. So here, 5 years to the month earlier, is a discussion of what the Death Spitter does when they brought out the rules for it here. Well, I guess it must have had rules in the previous edition as the older plastic Tyranid warriors, which I also think are really cool, had them. This was my first, no, it wasn't my first encounter with heavy metal, because there were the, how to play leaflets and painting guides and things, but this was the first magazine encounter of heavy metal, so these are ingrained in my psyche as the pinnacle of painting perfection. They're not, of course. Well, no, that's unfair. They're very, very well painted models of a style that I have since come to regard as slightly bland, but I still think they're extremely well painted models. I spent ages at school and at home, in fact, sketching these, drawing them, trying to make up stories for them because I didn't have any background to them. And a lot of these guys, I don't know, I'm very well familiar with, like, Mike McVeigh, for example, but what did Neil Hodgson go on to do? Where's Paul Muller these days? What about Dave Perry? What about Richard Potter and Kim Soberg, both of which look about 12 years old in this magazine? And Stuart Thomas, who looks definitely psychotic, but is very good at painting plastic models. I mean, that's an incredible paint job of that model. And Mark Jones, where are they? Are they in the Oldhammer community? If not, they should be. It would be great to see what they're doing, what they're up to these days. Command squads for 40k. Back in that time when you were buying Imperial Guard platoons in certain configurations and using command squads to influence your other squad. It's a very flexible way of building an army. It's quite entertaining, but also very appropriate to an Imperial Guard army. And then here we are, my first experience of a Warhammer Battle Report, which I have read and reread, but mostly just looked at the pictures. The coolest Wood Elf army, at a time when we're in 4th edition Warhammer and the Wood Elves don't have a list beyond what appears. They don't have an army book. They don't have anything that appears besides what's in the main rulebook. So it's great to see that. And these are all older models. So this was also my first look at models that were not current at the time, and I definitely prefer the painting on these to, for example, the stuff in the heavy metal. And interestingly, it says that this is David Kane's army, but I think, and it very clearly makes a point that that's his army, because this is a studio Orcs and Goblin army, because Gordon Davidson, who was the staff champion who was playing this game, his particular army was not available for photography at the time because he was on holiday, so they had to photograph the studio army, and that's very definitely the studio Orcs and Goblins army. But they said that David's army was available because he left it at the studio. I think that is Mike McVeigh's army, or at least certainly some elements of his art, or it's very, very closely modelled on Mike McVeigh's army, which might be possible because Mike McVeigh's army got a full Whit Dwarf article on how he painted it with some really good close-up pictures of that army. So it's entirely possible that it was based on Mike McVeigh's, I should get the two out and compare them side by side and see what I can figure. But certainly, like these banners and these colour choices, they're so familiar from Mike McVeigh's army. Even the way that eagle's painted, even that's not the eagle that McVeigh did the rider on, but the colour choices are identical. And then we're into the catalogue pages, and these catalogue pages that have ticks. In previous issues, they've been ticks that other people have put in. These are ticks that I've put in because this is my magazine from new, and they're not ticks that I had. These are ticks that I wanted, although I did end up getting the Dark Elf plastic figure box set. I was ticking lots of stuff that I never ended up getting and still haven't got. Although I did have him. That Savage Orc Boss was my first metal figure that I owned. Here are those gorgeous night goblins that I'm painting up at the moment. I still don't have him. I don't have the boss without a hood. I don't have this one. I've got this one, but I don't have this one. And there's another variant of these, or at least one. There might be two more, because Dave Gilson at Bring Out Your Lead had a unit, all of these figures mixed together, and I think there were 3 or maybe 4 variants. So there's an uncatalogued one of these that I haven't got either. And I don't have, I think this one. They're so similar, the photographs are really difficult to tell them apart. I think I've got this archer and I haven't got this archer, and I haven't got this spearman, but I've got a unit of that one, so that's okay. But yeah, enjoying painting those up at the moment. Lots of dark elfy stuff. There's that Tyrionid stuff that we looked at earlier. And the very definitely alien influenced Hormagaunts. I mean, if you take the arms off, that's the creature from Alien, right? The alien from Alien. Just put scythes on it. And there's a lovely picture of an awesome underhive setup to inspire you. I think it was the look of the terrain as much as anything else that really inspired me about playing Necromunda. The flexibility of the battlefields was what I was really looking forward to doing, and that I still enjoy playing this version of Necromunda, or actually the community edition is what I really enjoy playing, which made a few tweaks, nothing too significant, but a lot less than the updated newer Necromunda, which I'm not a fan of. But there we go. So there is my first White Dwarf, October 1995, when I would have been just turned 10. Yes, just turned 10. I have to count. No, just turned 11. Sorry. It depends on which side. So I was born on the 9th of October, so it depends if it was before the 9th. I think it must have been after that I got this. So yeah, it would have just turned 11. There you go. Excellent. So more of that next month. Join me then.